Joining us now to talk about today's announcement is political professor Joe Heim. Thank you so much for being with us
Thanks,
today.
Mark.
What kind of a speech was this for the president today? This was kind of a tough needle for him to thread.
Oh yeah, he's walking a very fine line between advocates and those that support privacy issues and those that want to guarantee national security. And he's trying to placate both sides and still keep this program going. And that's sort of why it's such a fine line, and it's very difficult. He's going to be criticized by both sides.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did he walk that line? Did he give people enough to be happy about on both sides or enough to be angry about on both sides?
I personally think he walked the fine line and did okay. There's certain limitations that are going to protect the privacy of individuals, especially in the United States. He also has placated the foreign leaders who seemed upset about some of this sort of stuff. But at the same time, he's going to continue the program. The data collection is going to continue. It's a question of where that data is going to be held and how you access it.
Does he still have enough trust from the American people that they're going to trust that this was the right decision?
That's a good question. I would say probably yes, but this adds to suspicion of government in general. And whether it's him or whether it's his agencies, there's a suspicion of big government doing, listening to us. And that's a concern, and he obviously is a supporter of this.
And that suspicion, there's a lot of misconception that surround this program. Do you think he cleared up any of those misconceptions?
Not really. I think there's still a lot of misconceptions. This is not listening to your messages, not listening to your emails, not knowing what the content is. No, if on the other hand you are a terrorist, yes, you're going to have access to it. In other words, they are going to listen to terrorist messages, basically. But the courts are going to have to prove that, basically, the FISA court.
There's been a lot of criticism surrounding Edward Snowden, who leaked this program, as to whether he is a patriot or whether he's a traitor. What does this do for him today, that what he did actually created change?
Well, in a certain sense, you'd have to say he was at least partially right, because what he did, basically, was expose something which in the past had not been known. The president would not be doing this today if, in fact, Snowden did not exist.
The midterms are coming up this year, and there's going to be a lot of things that are big issues. Is this going to be an issue in the midterm?
I don't think so. You're either on one side or this is very bipartisan, by the way. Many Democrats support it and oppose it. Many Republicans support and oppose it. So it's not a partisan issue that probably would come up in a regular election. And frankly, a lot of people don't understand it anyway.
Yeah, and one of the things we were talking about before is, this information is being stored somewhere, and one of the things the president wants to do is have someone else store it and have control over it, but he didn't mention who. Right
now, NSA has these massive computers that store data. They can access the data anytime they want. What the president's proposing, that this data is then stored by somebody outside of NSA, and when NSA wants it, they're going to have to ask permission to get at it. And that's kind of, the question is who that is. The telephone companies don't want to do it. Originally, the president, I think, proposed telephone companies have their own data and store it. But the fact is, they don't want to do it. So there's got to be a third party here that's going to actually be the storage facilitator. Finally, this program came up under a different president. It came up under President George W. Bush. But it's kind of President Obama's program now, isn't it? It sure is. Legacy. This started after 9/11. The terrorist, the fact that we didn't know what was happening. But essentially, what the president's now been president for almost 6 years, it's his program. He bought into it, accepted the program, that it was handed to him by the former president, so it's his. All right, Joe, always thanks for the knowledge. Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it.